Hello, I'm Gabriela Ladrón de Guevara from Universidad Autónoma de la Ciudad de México, and I'm really glad to be part of this FEL 2021. So today we are going to talk about autonomous learning and resilience as tools for healthy socio-emotional learning. This is a topic that is very important because our classrooms must be safe and healthy socio-emotional environments in order to get better results. Education is one of the most powerful tools humans have. So it promotes values and attitudes. This is an essential part of education, and it makes education a powerful tool. And something very important is that it changes participants' cosmovisions. It reduces stereotypes, redignifies human beings, and respect differences. And on top of that, it promotes resilience. Resilience is, according to the American Psychological Association, is the process to adapting well in face of adversity, trauma, tragedy, threats, or significant sources of stress. If you consider that, in this moment, resilience is one of the most powerful tools we have in our classrooms. It is a human characteristic, and it can be learned and promoted. Education and resilience are two processes that can be linked. Educators can help students during this process and promote students' road to adaptation and recovery when they are living very difficult situations, as we are living now in this different way of having a new interaction because of the health problem that we have due to COVID-19. The primary factor in resilience is having caring and supporting relationships within and outside the family. And one of the most important parts of that is school. So those relationships can create love and trust. They have role models and offer encouragement and resilience. They help that person's resilience. If you check, that is exactly what we have in our classroom. We have roles, we have models, and we are helping our students to become more resilient. The factors to contribute to resilience are very similar to the factors that contribute to autonomous learning. This is a very good thing that we can use in our classrooms because resilience can be promoting using the same factors that we use when we are promoting autonomous learning. And these relationships are very similar to the ones that we have in our classrooms, and they help to create healthy socio-emotional environments. So if we as educators promote autonomous learning, we are promoting resilience. And we are helping students in their path to resilience. The ELT classroom is very particular because our final goal is to get autonomous students. And we want to have independent users of the target language. Our main goal is communication. So the resilience and autonomous learning, they have factors, common factors that people in general can develop in themselves. And we as educators can foster them by adding spaces to reflect when we are performing activities. Yes, the same factor that we use in autonomous learning, it is a factor that we can use when we are fostering resilience. Another one is when we talk about feelings. Remember about affective learning strategies that we talk about how we feel while performing an activity? Yes, that strategy that helps the autonomy to develop is another strategy that is helping resilience. So another one is use learning strategies as a source of self-knowledge and self-evaluation. Yes, something that we use a lot when we are helping students into their path to autonomy. Other factors that are common to learning and resilience are the capacity to make realistic plans. This is something very important. When we're talking about our students being autonomous, they are having that idea of getting realistic plans, learning objectives. And when we're talking about resilience, we are using the same realistic objectives and a series of steps. We cannot say, okay, tomorrow we are going to use present perfect perfectly. No, we have certain steps. For example, in order to use present perfect, first we have to know the form, then the use and practice. For example, the same when we're talking about resilience. Another important factor is a positive view of yourself and confidence in your strengths and abilities. This is essential. According to scholars, the way in which students see themselves is very important in their learning outcomes. And another important factor is how the teacher is considering the student. Mental representations. If we consider a student can achieve their goals, probably they will. Why? Because they are having that positive view, that positive image from a role model that is the teacher. The same is happening with resilience. If we consider a student can cope with a difficult situation and we work with that idea, it is very probable that the student will cope with that. Another important part are skills in communication and problem solving. As we know, ELT classrooms are based on communication. Communication of ideas, opinions, feelings, etc. So if we promote this healthy environment where students can communicate and they feel motivated to do that, we are fostering autonomous learning and resilience. Yes, we are working together and students are living in a safe classroom environment when they feel they have a voice and they can listen to others and they are listened to. This is very important in autonomous learning and in resilience, that students really think they are important in the classroom or in the learning environment they are having. Another important part for both autonomous learning and resilience is the ability to deal with strong feelings, normally frustration and impulses. So when students can control that and they know how to do that, they can be autonomous and they can foster resilience. Some classroom actions that we can use are to help students to make connections with each other, building empathy. This is very common in classrooms, in language classrooms, because students have to communicate in order to achieve their learning goal. So this is very important to promote those healthy relationships and the good rapport in the classroom. Also, encourage students to help each other. This is very common in learning strategies, when we have some remedial strategies in order to help each other while we are having a communicative exchange. And it is also very important in resilience. That is that idea of it is we are not having a competition in the classroom. We have collaborative learning. And this is a very important part, that we as teachers believe that collaborative learning is working in the classroom and that students are really collaborating in order to build together their knowledge. Also, daily routines. Daily routines are very important to promote autonomous learning and to promote resilience. And in this moment in which students are facing lots of changes in their lives because of external factors, it is very important that they feel safe and controlled and contained in the classroom. And we are helping autonomous learning and resilience. Also, taking breaks and teach students how to take a break. This is essential. Sometimes we feel that the classroom work must be one activity after the other and another more. No. It is also important to know how to take a break, to change classroom pace, and allow students to understand their needs. Sometimes they really need to stop and analyze. It's not only working, 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 but it is very important to stop and analyze. Also, another important thing is to teach students self-care. And this is something that we cannot do as teachers if we do not believe we deserve also as teachers to take care of ourselves. This is very important. Yes, a teacher that takes care of herself, of himself, is a better teacher and a healthier teacher. And in that way, we can help our students to follow the same path. Other actions are set reasonable goals, not just having ideas that are not clear. For example, a goal, I want to speak English. Yes, but when, how, what kind of English? So help students to set realistic goals. And nurturing students a positive self-view. This is very important. Teacher's opinion is very relevant if we are working as models and examples. So if we think our students can do the things, they will. We have discussed that previously. Another thing is to help students to think perspective. This is essential in autonomous learning, that we are not learning for today or tomorrow or for the exam. It's the same with resilience. What we are living right now, okay, how is this event affecting our lives in 5 years? Or how is this feeling affecting our lives in 1 year, in 1 week? So if we take perspective, we help our students to see a wider panorama. Another one is to look for opportunities for self-discovery for students and to show them to look for those opportunities. And of course, we as teachers, we also deserve those opportunities of self-discovery. Yes, to look at ourselves. We are very important as teachers, and it is very important that we are autonomous and resilient, and we're in that process too. So this is part of helping others, helping ourselves first. If you check, the activities are simple. They are not having a lot of materials. No, they are very accessible and easy to find. And if we consider that, I have used those activities in the classroom, activities in which we stop for a while and talk about our feelings. In fact, during those months, in fact, the last 2 semesters, I have been talking in the classroom using English, using the target language, talking more about feelings and having more contention activities in the classroom than before, because my students need that. Sometimes they don't want to talk about the topic we are having that day, but they do talk about their feelings in that moment, their insecurities, their desires. And this is communication, and this is part of the classroom. And we can say, yes, maybe they are not talking about habits and routines using present simple, but they are expressing feelings using present simple. So we are covering our learning goals, and they are opening their panorama, and they are using their affective learning strategies. Also, those activities are in context, and the best context we have right now is our learning environment. It could be a digital learning environment, a physical learning environment, or a blended learning environment. So we have that context, and we can use it as part of our resources to promote autonomous learning and resilience. Also, this is very important, review previous knowledge, values, attitudes, and actions. This is essential in the learning path. And we use appropriate resources, the resources we have in our learning environments. In this very moment, I'm using the resources I have in my virtual learning environment to get in contact with you, to try to build a rapport. So this is very important. We are building together a learning experience, even though we are not in the same place and we are not at the very same time. and we are building a learning experience, a collective learning experience together. Also, if you check, the activities promote reflection. And this promotes the use of thinking skills and also the use of learning strategies, social learning strategies, mainly affective learning strategies, but also cognitive and metacognitive learning strategies. Is how I learn, what I'm learning, how I feel when I'm learning, and am I learning alone or collaboratively? This is very important. And we arrive to the conclusions. The first one is that education is the most valuable, one of the most valuable tools humans have. And in this moment, we have proved that teachers, we are very important to keep our society working. And that's essential. That's essential for us. Also, one of the processes that we can promote in education is resilience. And we can help students to work during these processes of adaptation, and they can recover and be more resilient. Fortunately, the factors that contribute to autonomous learning and the factors that contribute to resilience are very similar. So we can use both in the classroom in order to promote autonomous learning and resilience in a healthy socio-emotional environment. We know that those factors can be developed individually, but we can foster them by adding some spaces of reflection and using learning strategies. If we make the activities objectives more explicit, we can link them to our students' lives, they can understand their learning processes, and they can become, at the same time, when they become autonomous learners, they can become a more resilient people. And finally, this approach would help to create healthy socio-emotional learning environments where students feel safe and eager to learn. And in this moment, when we have lots of difficult things outside the learning environments, keeping students feeling safe and motivated inside our learning environment, it is very, very important. Here you have some references, and well, if you have comments or questions, we can talk later. And here you have my email in case you want to contact me later. Thank you very much. I'm Gabriela Ladrón de Guevara, and I'm really happy to interact with you. So I'm really happy to be here with you today, and I'm ready for your questions and comments. Thank you for listening.